A lot of our parents didn't get us into money with our hands.
Yes.
Or is this a plumber? You can't be doing plumbing. You can't be plumbing. Changing water leak. You.
Get on straight away.
Brother, do you know what they're making? My mate's an electrician. He's now does the pat testing.
Yeah.
He's making like 8-9 bills a day.
So today, we're training back. The man them. Got Farid, got Staff, got Moyes, they got a big G Gabriel over there. These man, they're involved in property, so trying to bring something different to the channel where we're going to talk about how they got involved in property, what they do. Like, you lot deal with like what, rentals, fixing properties, buying everything. Literally everything, bro. So yeah, today these men are going to kick knowledge to people like you and people like me who don't really know nothing about property. So they're just going to drop gems. And yeah, let's go. In regards to buying houses, how did you man get into it, and what do you lot focus more on? Buying auction houses or just buying anything and just remodeling and getting it from 1 to 2 bedrooms, or you know what I mean? Because I remember like last year you had what was that originally?
So I'll say traditionally I started off in property doing rent to rent, a strategy called rent to rent, where you rent a property from a landlord, and then you split it into rooms, including the living room and dining room, and rent that for a profit. So that's what I started off doing about 5 years ago. And then from there, gaining more experience, I've progressed into obviously buying my own properties and then selling them for a profit or keeping them as part of a portfolio just to kind of grow the wealth and stuff. So yeah, there's different strategies. Obviously the one you saw last year, I bought from auction. It was a 1-bed flat in Croydon, and we converted it to a 2-bed flat. And now we've got it rented out, and we've just refinanced it so that we can get that money back out and go again. So
what would you say has helped you, especially with this? We're starting off because I swear like some of the man them are involved, like
do you know what, that's been the biggest help, you know? Like working together with other brothers like Moise, Staff, you know, being part of the similar network. It's kind of helped share knowledge, confidence, you know what I mean, ideas, money sometimes, you know what I mean? Like there's always been this stigma that we don't work together, but do you know what, for the past 5 years all I've been working with is, do you know what I mean, is like my brothers around me, do you get me? So that's helped me massively anyway.
What does Asa do? He's like involved in
he's got a construction company, so he does maintenance. So obviously I've done that project with Asa because he brought that to the table, do you get what I'm saying? So we collaborated on that one to convert it from a 1-bed to a 2-bed. I'm working with other people on the Maidavale one to convert that one from a studio to a 2-bed flat.
So from a studio to how you get a studio?
It's a massive studio. It's huge.
You sure?
Yeah.
Man's gonna put you in the bathroom.
So break down that 1-bed flat. Sorry.
So
the 1-bed flat. So you went auction.
Went
to buy
auction.
it. Okay. Can you talk numbers?
Yeah, of course.
Okay. So what did you pay for it?
150. So it was run down. So it's a flat that's been run down. It's a Victorian conversion. No, not including the fees.
Let's just say 160. Including
let's just say exactly.
160.
Yeah,
So
160.
Got the keys 160.
160.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let's keep going.
Cool. So it's a 1-bed flat, 160. It's been derelict, empty for years. It's got damp all over the walls. You've seen the videos. The videos on my YouTube.
We're gonna add the videos into it.
Okay, cool. So 160.
Structural damage.
160. Purchased it for 160. Got the keys. Got in there. We spent 35 grand.
Okay, so then we're now on say 200 max.
Yeah.
Let's call it 200.
And it was a low lease. So because it's a flat, we've had to extend the lease. There was about 61 years left on the lease.
You've got to pay for that to extend it.
Yeah, 25 grand.
So let's call it 225 bags now you spend.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
All in. So now we're getting it refinanced at 300k.
300k.
So it's worth, because we've converted it to a 2-bed and we've extended the lease. So those are the main things that's added the value, because if we didn't extend the lease, it's probably worth about 250, 220. If we didn't refurb it, obviously it's a shithole, so it's not going to be worth anything.
What was your mortgage in it? Per month?
Mortgage?
Per month?
650.
650. Was that interest only or?
Interest only.
Okay, and what was you renting it out for?
1350.
So you was making a good sort of £600 a month profit?
Exactly, yeah.
Okay, and that was from 300 bags of investment?
Well, that's the end value, 300k.
Yeah, so you put down 225 basically.
Yeah.
You was getting 650 back.
Yeah.
And you looking to sell it?
No, we've refinanced it, so it's being rented out.
Okay, so but you've refinanced it now on 300 grand, which now means your mortgage is going to be more.
No, we didn't buy it with mortgage, sorry, I should have been clear.
So you cashed it?
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, sorry. I'm rude. Sorry. I'm rude. Sorry, Oga. Sorry.
We bought it cash.
No, not like that.
fine. Sorry,
I wasn't clear from the beginning.
sorry. It's my fault.
I've been humble with you.
I'm sorry.
No. I weren't clear from the beginning. So yeah, no, because obviously it was auction and it was quick turnaround. We had to complete in like, I think it was 14 days or 28 days. Sorry. So it was just easier to do it cash, and it would have been hard to get a mortgage because the lease is very low. So you're limited on the type of mortgage lenders that you can get with a low lease property.
Yeah, Brad, touch on this, yeah, because obviously there's a misconception with auction in terms of that in auction properties they're always going to be cheap, yeah. But a lot of people don't factor certain things. So obviously you've done an auction property. What sort of things that they don't factor?
Okay, so yeah, as Gabriel asked earlier, like obviously the purchase price was 150, but there were so many other fees attached to it. Like these days, when you're buying a property at auction, the sellers, they want you to pay all their fees, all their solicitors' costs, all their auction costs as well. So they typically put that as a percentage or a set figure. And then obviously you got to add stamp duty, then you got to pay the auction's admin fees as well, and your solicitor's costs. So there's loads of costs attached to buying. And if you're bridging it, getting a mortgage, then you're going to have to pay a lot of extra stuff. So that's why we went with cash on that one.
Please,
Bridging, shit, I'm out of breath, man. That one of these guys, I've been talking too much. That one of these man break that down.
Staff. Sorry, y'all.
He's asking what's bridging.
Well, bridging essentially is borrowing money the full cost or 75% of the money which you want to borrow from the bank. But essentially, you're paying like a high interest rate. So it's only for short-term finance to somewhat bridge the financial gap that you need to do to acquire the property.
you pay a premium on top, so they'll give you the money for maybe like 3 months or 6 months, and then once you've got that, you then pay the bridging loan company back.
But say for you go buy a house for 500 grand.
Yeah.
Typically you get a mortgage just over 25 to 30 years. They typically charge you, I don't know, anything 3%.
Yeah.
Downwards, whatever it may be.
Yeah.
Same thing with bridging, but they charge you 1%. But it's a money borrowed for 12 months, 6 months, 12 months.
Okay. Yeah.
But you're getting that charge monthly
Okay. Yes.
on the full amount.
Okay.
You understand? So 500,000, pay 5 grand
Yes.
a month.
Yes.
Payments, interest. As opposed to you do 500,000 on 3% for over 25 years.
Okay, I see what you mean.
Probably look at something in the region.
So it's beneficial, but it's a very risky game.
Well, yeah, if you don't pay it back.
Yeah. So how did you get to the 200 bags then? So I was rude. I was rude to assume that you mortgaged. I'm sorry.
I didn't buy that property on my own, obviously. I bought that with obviously my business partner.
Yeah.
And we went halves on that.
Yeah.
So obviously that funds, this is not my first deal, so it might sound like, oh, how have you managed to spend 200k cash on a property? My first ever property deal, I only spent 15 grand, which it took me years to save that money up. To buy my first ever property, 7.5 grand deposit, and then I spent 7.5 grand to do it up. Yeah. So from after that, and that was like, what, 4 or 5 years ago when I bought my first property. And after remortgaging that and saving money from obviously working and my rent to rent business,
Yeah. It's just a month.
it's just, yeah, it accumulates. Do you know what I'm saying? So yeah, it is hard just to think, oh, straight away you're going to spend 200 grand on a property cash. Yeah, not everyone's going to jump out and do that straight away, especially coming from where we've come from. But it's a process, isn't it? You start small and then it will grow into something. You know, there's people doing £1 million cash deals. Do you know what I mean? So it's like they started somewhere before they could get to there. Do you know what I mean?
So I know Farid from back in the day when we still do parties and that. I went to college with Mice, but I know you from basketball. So I remember you came back from States in what year was it? Like 03, 02?
2001?
2001, yeah. So I remember you came back from States then. That's when I was proper into basketball. And this guy was helping me out with my shooting and form work and all of that. Like when I was getting extra practice. And yeah, after that, how did you switch and get into property game? Like what started off?
Well, to be honest,
And how many years you been involved in?
Well, I bought my first property I think about 15 years ago.
Yeah. OG.
Yeah, about 15 years now. Jesus Christ, I'm old. About 50 years ago, there was one thing that was actually on the TV. I remember just watching. They were talking about pensions. They're talking about life expectancy and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And obviously, when you're growing up, you usually know the government's supposed to look after you.
Yeah.
You collect your little pension, you go and live in. But obviously, the cost of living was just growing extraordinary. So they were really saying there was not going to be enough money for anyone to survive.
Yeah.
So forget your pension.
Yeah.
So from hearing that and obviously just looking at the calculations, the graph they had on there, I said, you know what, I need to do something. So you can't rely on the pension.
Yeah.
You can go work, get your little money, sit down and retire on a little pension, but you're gonna be struggling at the end of the day. And for me, it was just like, you know, I need to get on this property ladder.
Yeah.
And I need to start now. So I was working for a company, I had a little money there.
Yeah.
I stopped paying that pension to them immediately. Took out some of the money. I was saving a good portion of my salary at the time. I was putting into like a stocks and shares ISA.
Yeah.
And the second that, this is the time like 2008, I think, where we had like the first property crash that was going on.
Yeah.
As soon as that was kind of happening, I kind of took my money out. I need to park it somewhere,
Okay.
and that's the time I obviously started looking for a property.
Yeah.
Pretty much straightforward. Went to agents, walked in there, asked them what do they have. Looked online.
Yeah.
Went to one agent, said he had a property. Put in an offer. Came back, got rejected. Said, "Oh, the person who went before you offered higher," or some nonsense like that. Yeah. So I just carried on looking, and 3 weeks later, I got a phone call saying, "Oh, the lending didn't go through, or their mortgage obviously collapsed, or whatever happened." They said, "Yeah, do you want to go forward with it?" They said, "You put in an offer, there's likelihood you get it." So I put an offer, got accepted. Had the money, obviously, which I saved up for my stocks and shares ISA. But I need to get the refurbishment. That's quite important, you know. The place itself is a 3-bed with above commercial. Very nice place, big in terms of the square footage. And I brought it along for my dad. It's quite important too. It was a loan. It wasn't a gift. It was a loan. It was a loan.
Said it wasn't a gift.
Yeah, it was a loan.
But you said you paid him back now, yeah? Have you paid him back?
A couple of times I tried to say to my dad, you know, you might give me a little holiday. That didn't go over too well.
Yeah.
No, but that's one thing when you get in property and stuff.
Yeah.
You might need to borrow money from someone personal or for the bank, or wherever it need be. It's very important, man. You need to pay your money back consistently.
Yeah.
You know, be reliable in terms of what you're doing, man.
Yeah.
Like I said, I've never ever missed a payment ever on anything.
And with that now, when you want to get the next property, the bank straight away.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. Boys, how did you get into the game?
So you know what? Yeah, it's not like, you know, like for example, you know, everyone's sort of reading up on things these days and sort of like have that sort of vision. Yeah. And say, you know what, I need to jump on property. Yeah. It was just a thing where like I had some money stacked up. I just thought, okay, this makes sense. You know what I'm saying? But obviously, coming from where we're coming from, there wasn't anyone doing it. You know what I'm saying? There wasn't anyone doing it. You know what I'm saying?
Like college days is not something we would have thought.
Exactly.
Especially the college we went to. Because half of the men we know where they are.
Exactly.
Yeah. And we know half. It's weird. Our college you were either super talented, where it produced the artists and the football players, or everyone else just went the road. Some men can't even come back to the country because of antics. So it's one of them things there. Like, I understand. No one at that age there, no one's mind frame was on property.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah,
that's it. And I, you know, for me, it's kind of like it just made perfect sense. So, so my first property that I purchased was in Lewisham, and I didn't have any knowledge. I'm not going to say that I knew what I was doing or I went on some course or anything like that. I just freestyled it, honestly. And same sort of thing like Safford. Went to the estate agent, seen a property now, and I didn't know this property was a repossession property. So it's been repossessed by, you know, someone didn't pay up the mortgage or whatever situation that is, but that's an opportunity for somebody else. So I purchased it for, what was it, 147 or something like that.
So how much did you put down?
And it was worth like what, 220 or 230 at the time.
It's cheap.
Do you understand? So automatically I had equity in the property already. So that was a leg up. In hindsight, you know, if I can go back, I would have utilised that equity quickly. But I didn't know about that. My mindset was like, I'm gonna pay this off. Do you understand? So 2 years after that, bought something in Brixton. You know, very lucky.
Perfect location.
Bought something in Brixton. You know, great deal as well. Got it below market value. That was another 2-bed. Got that for 200k. It's now worth about 450.
So that's rented out to today.
That's still rented out. So and then fast forward,
bought a few more properties in other locations and stuff like that. Then I took a break. I was in teaching. I don't know if you know that. I was teaching for a while. And then it just got too much, man. Too much politics, not enough time for the kids and all that sort of stuff. So then I started doing rent to rent due to Farid, actually. You know, I see him getting properties left, right, centre. I'm thinking, what's this guy doing? Like, just picking up properties left, right, centre. But this is the main thing about, obviously, your circle, isn't it? Do you know what I'm saying? And being inspired by what other people are doing. So you know, I was speaking to Farid, and Farid's telling me, yeah, you know, I'm making £700 to £1,000 on properties I don't own. I'm like, what? You know what I'm saying? This makes sense. So I start stacking up on that, and that was my sort of get out. So and then come out teaching, done that full time, buy a few more properties, and then now I'm doing a big refurbishment or development in Forest Hill.
Juicy though.
Yeah, that's a juicy one.
That would look like a movie setup.
So that property. So originally it was a 4-bed end of terrace property. It was rented out as a HMO, unregulated. That was a direct to vendor. So no estate agent, direct to the vendor. And got it for a very, very good price. Actually, this is exclusive, so I'm actually exposed the price I got it for, actually. So I'll let people know now. So I got it for 437k. So you might be thinking that's a lot of money, but this property is worth at the time 650 at the time. So now we're converting it into a 6-bed HMO. So a long single extension where that's going to be the lounge and the kitchen area, and six bedrooms. 4 of those rooms can have en suites as well. There's going to be another bathroom on the first floor for the other 2 rooms to share. Perfect location. In that location, rooms they go anywhere between sort of 800 to 950 per calendar month per room. Yeah, so if you do the numbers times 6, you see what I'm saying. Boy, roughly, I know it's gonna be like around sort of that 5.5 sort of rental that's coming in. And the good thing about this property, obviously, because I got it below market value, obviously I'm pumping quite a lot of money into it as well. Do you know what I'm saying? The refurb, it's not no little money, man. So not no joke, man. Sleepless nights. So
I'm surprised your hairline's not here. What are you saying? The secret to hairline and full head of hair is proper,
Oh man. Don't make it stress you, bro.
No, all 3 of them got. Everyone's got their little foam pad in the car. I see on Stuffin's thingy. Handrest. It goes in order of who's been property the longest. That's why his hair's like that. The OG.
They're my OGs, you get me?
If we come in
Man, them get involved in property, your hair will grow nicely and your hairline will stay.
Great thing about this deal is literally every single penny is coming out of the deal. So there'll be nothing, there'll be no dead money left in the deal, and that's the deals that we're trying to do. You know, no, we're not trying to leave any money in there. We want the bank to be funding it, and we want to make our cash flow every single month, and that's it. Do you know what I'm saying? So, and then just move on to the next one, and the next one, and the next one, and the next one, and it's about building a legacy at the end of the day. Do you understand? You know, you build it, and then you pass it down. You know, that's it.
Continue.
Do you know what I'm saying? If we had those opportunities, you never know.
You know what
I'm saying?
Boy, most of us weren't even born here, so where was you? Were you born here or born in Nigeria?
I was born in Nigeria still.
Exactly, same here. How about you?
I was born in Nigeria.
You was born in Nigeria as well. Very freshies. These freshies have come to stake their claim in the land.
Taking our jobs.
Taking our houses. If somebody's out there, kind of between 22, 28, and they want to buy a first property, what's your advice?
How would you advise them to start?
What would be your advice?
But it depends on if they got money, they got no money.
How would you advise to start?
Okay, what I would say is, I would, you know, as cliche as it sounds, I would say definitely get some education behind you. Understand what you're doing, because, like I mentioned, when I first started, if I had, you know, some of the education there, I would have utilised the properties that I had, you know, a bit more better. And I reckon, in terms of where my journey right now, will be slightly different, kind of different place.
So if they haven't really got money, how do they start?
If they haven't got money, right, obviously, like, Frank mentioned, there's other ways of making money from property. You don't always have to buy the property. So you can do rent to rent.
Yeah.
So rent to rent, you can do rent to HMO.
Yeah.
Where you take a property, turn the living room into a bedroom, rent out individual rooms, and make your profit on the top. Or you can do the fancy Airbnb. Do you understand? Where the cash flow is amazing, but it's a lot more work. Do you understand? So, and you don't actually have to own the property. Your upfront cost is maybe 2, 3k, 5k at the most. But it's knowledge, If you got the knowledge, and in that way you can start building up the pot. Then once you build the pot, then you go and purchase.
So that's what I'm saying. So you advise them to build up some experience, obviously, through doing various rent to rent,
100%.
service accommodation,
100%.
and save that money and then go
100%.
invest in real estate for
Because as
themselves.
we know, running properties is not simple. It's not straightforward. Issues are gonna happen. You might have some issues with tenants. You understand?
And it's best
Issues
you do it
going
with
on.
somebody else's property rather than your property.
So at least once you know that, you know what to expect. Do you understand? And then you know how to do it. Do you understand? Whether you're gonna have a team in place to manage certain things. Do you understand? So, but at the end of the day, when you get to a certain position, it's about systemizing your business and having other people get involved and sort out certain things for you. What do you wanna know? The losses. You know what? Yeah. I think every deal that I've done, there's always gonna be a loss somewhere. Do you understand? Whether it's the refurb cost, so you might say, you do your numbers and say this gonna be, I don't know, 30k, and it ends up being 40k. That's a loss. Do you know what I'm saying? Or in terms of how you structure the deal and it doesn't stack up the way exactly how you want it to go. Do you understand? But in this game, you have to be a problem solver. You have to solve problems. That's it. Do you understand? And then it's not literally, I've got money, buy a property, rent it out, happy days. It's not that at all. Do you understand? So if you get into this game, you have to understand there's going to be a lot of downs, but there's always a lot of ups as well.
But hey, I wanted to answer the question you asked earlier, about if I was going to advise a 22-year-old, like 22, 23. I think you asked it, innit?
Yeah. 22 to 28.
Like a young person, if they know that they want to get into property long term and they want to do a lot of stuff in property because they see loads of people getting success from it. If I was 22 again, I would actually advise myself or somebody young to work in property. So like get a job in property for a little while. Because Moy said, education. Education comes in, obviously right now it's very popular, everyone's selling courses, everyone's doing mentoring, but actually the best way, get a job with a developer, like somebody who's doing property development, work as an apprentice with them, or get a job in a property development company, or even an estate agency. Even if you do like a year in an estate agency, get to understand what it's like on the other side. Do you know what I mean? Even if it's you work in construction, people who are building houses, because part of the game where I've struggled in taking losses is not knowing how to identify good builders or working with a good build team when you're like doing refurbishments or renovations. If you've worked on that side, let's say you're good with your hands as a young person, go and get a job with a proper building company, get to understand how to do construction so that when you need it later on, you know how to deal with them. Or if you want to work in an estate agent or work with a mortgage broker, do you know what I mean? Like all these other things that are crucial to making property a success, I would tell a young person to work for like a year or two when they're young on the other side of things so that they gain proper knowledge, and then when they can come to invest in themselves, they can, because that's one of the best ways, I'd say, anyway.
And just to add to that as well, it's about the power team, right? It's about building your network. Good broker, good solicitor, good builders. You need this, do you understand? If you don't, like, especially a builder would done everything. you get a wrong builder in there, the whole thing is
Like a few of my brethren who they buy property together. Like some of them, like for instance, there's the plumber in the team.
okay.
You know what I mean? There's the builder in the team. So like they've all kind of got their own skill sets. So if they bought somewhere and it was messed up, they could do most of it by themselves. So their weekends are focused on them just boom, 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 knocking out the jobs by themselves. So it's a lot easier for them because they work as that unit. It's like I feel like they kind of knew what they wanted to get into from young, and just kind of just follow that. You do this, you do that, you be the electrician, boom. Let's form like Voltron. And it works.
It makes sense.
Yeah, it works for them. It works for
Something I
them.
learned from building when I was refurbing. Anyone that can jump on a job straight away is probably not any good. Mate, I learned the hard way.
When you was doing your restaurant.
Yeah, when I was refurbing, anyone that can, you can ring. Oh yeah, I'm free tomorrow, mate. Everybody that was free tomorrow or free the next day, I suffered. I suffered. Most good builders are in demand. People are doing projects 2 years in advance just to wait for this builder. And then you're bringing someone who's free. Yeah, I'm free, mate. What do you want done? Yeah, I do a bit of everything, mate. Plaster, I can do electrics and do
I
learned the hard way.
It's like the property that I'm doing right now. So what I've done is I've got 5 different teams in there.
Okay.
You know, give me a quote to see what they're saying and stuff like that. And
Was that before you bought the property? So did you take the risk of not knowing what it might cost you before getting it? 'Cause that's a mistake I made with my restaurant in Brum.
Yeah.
I just took it, not knowing what it was going to cost. And when I heard electrics was 10 bags to rewire, I said, for cable and wire. Mother, I almost fell over.
It's big.
I said, just to change, just to rewire. He said, yeah, mate, £9 mate. First fix, second fix. I said, what's all that? And I made mistakes. For instance, like when I got guys to build, okay, before knowing where I wanted all the plumbing to go. So imagine I've started laying floor, laying everything. I then said to the plumber, I want the bar to be there. He said, mate, because of the water needs to drop at a certain angle. So he said that it's not going to work because the floor is higher than something. I have to rip up all the floor.
That's it.
No, because remember, because this was a restaurant I was just refurbing.
That's what I'm saying. So
I didn't know. I just thought the bar's there. I just didn't, just put a little wire there. Just change the tap. Then the day they came in, they finished my life. Electrics. For some of that was 2,000 square feet. 10 bags to rewire.
No, trust me. That's
electric.
The price. That's the price.
There's a lot of fun.
It's a highly skilled task,
It's a shame
innit?
that a lot of
And they charge a lot of money.
A lot of our parents didn't get us into money with our hands.
Yes. that's
Or
what
is this a plumber? You can't be doing
This is what I'm
plumbing.
saying,
You
like,
can't be
you
plumbing.
come and you're
Changing
with your
water
hands.
leak. You.
Get on
Are
it
you?
straight away.
Brother, do you know what they're making?
Go to school.
My mate's an electrician. He now does the pat testing. He's making like 8-9 bills a day. All he does, he goes to the site. He does the little test, gives his certificate, £300. Goes to the next one, 300. He's there for 30 minutes to an hour.
And that's it.
Here's the joke. You know, Jaheim, when he was 16, he went to college to study to be an electrician. He dropped out after first year. The way I was costing him, because you know what it is, I made one of my brethren call and say, "Rah, how much you made a day?" I said, "Bro, like, I don't know why you dropped out." I said, "Rah, if you stay there for 3 years, because he's 19 now." I said, by now he'll be laughing.
Just bricks and mortar. Like, just when I started doing refurb, and man's telling me, "Yeah, mate, day rate's 250, mate." I said, "What are you doing?" He said, "Yeah, mate, 250, mate, and I can't start until probably about 2 months."
That's a lot still.
I said, "What?"
That's big things there.
I said, "What?" And then remember the electrician. Remember they're charging per points. They do it like and I didn't get all of that. So where I wanted so much plug sockets, he was telling me, I said, "Don't worry, the one plug is okay for the they can stretch it." We'll buy extension cable. Don't worry. Yeah, I learned the hard way.
You have to plan, and the benefit is, I know Asa, I know Nelson, who are, they're in construction, so they come down and say, "Look, how much would this cost?" So I've got a rough idea. So now I'm gonna get the team in and they give me quotes.
Would you say you've got kind of like an eye now, roughly, so you can kind of go into a build, not like an expert, but you can walk into a flat and say, "This is roughly gonna cost me plus minus maybe 50 grand, maybe 40 or 60." So you can kind of gauge yourself now what it's gonna cost you roughly.
100. I think naturally, the more deals you do, and the more properties you go and view, it just comes naturally. Do you understand? It may not be on point at the end, but you're very close.
What would you say your field is now? Are you more rental? Are you more HMOs and basically get like a 2-bed, break it down and get free? What would you say is so if someone's coming to you directly, what would you say they should come to you for? Like, what would you say that this is like, I can stand proud and say, "I know this"?
I said at the moment right now, I know how to buy properties cheap.
Okay.
I know how to add value.
Okay.
And
that's the refurb side of it.
Yeah,
so
the refurb side.
Maybe renovating the kitchen and bathroom is the most important part size.
100%. And just seeing how to add value to that asset, to build more cash flow. My main thing is about building cash flow and not leaving any dead money in any property deal. That's the main thing.
And the rent to rent thing, obviously rent to rent, I'm assuming that works in the sense where I might get a 4-bed. So I'll find the landlord, say to the landlord, "Listen, I can guarantee you £2,000 a rent. Give the property to me. I'm letting you know that I'm going to be renting it out. So don't worry about what's happening. There's your 2 bags, and I guess what you then do maybe for that 2 bags is maybe have 5 rooms, and then do 750, 750, 750, 750. So now on that 2 bags, you've now collected maybe 4 bags, and that's how you was able to make £2 grand a month from a property without owning it and without having to spend the big capital of maybe 50 bags to do the same thing. The only thing is that you obviously can't sell it, but you're getting a rental income from it. I guess.
And then you tie the landlord in for like 5 years or 3 years, so you got that guaranteed
So technically,
income coming in.
somebody could. So maybe all you've got to do maybe is have a deposit for maybe, I don't know, what is it now? 6 weeks deposit now?
5 weeks deposit.
5 weeks deposit.
Yeah.
And 1 month's rent. So technically, for maybe say 3 or 4 bags, you could technically take on a property and potentially could be making a return of maybe 152 grand as a passive income.
100%.
And maybe if you've got 4 or 5 of them that you're doing, that could be 6.5, 7 grand a month without having to technically work.
You're still working.
Yeah, but you know what I mean. Yeah, you're not sort of like
traditional work.
traditional work.
100%. Yeah.
And you say that's kind of the way you've kind of gone, in a sense, or
I wouldn't say that's not how I started in the game. I started in the game literally just buying properties, adding value, Like I would say at the middle section of my game, that's when I started doing rent to rent to build up more cash flow, and now I've gone back to acquiring more properties.
I want to go backwards now.
Yeah.
You said about 22-year-old. Would you advise a 22-year-old who's maybe, let's say the average salary in London now is 37k, which is going to be roughly about 2400, 25 max after tax. Let's call it 25 after tax.
Yeah.
Would you advise that person who maybe has only got 5 grand savings, would you advise that person to stay at home with their parents? Because there's this idea, because everything is acquiring the money.
So the average salary is what?
In London, 37. Check it. 37 grand.
It is still. Yeah.
I was doing not research the average day.
surprised.
37. So basically,
Yeah.
What's that? Less?
Far less.
No, before tax. That's before tax.
Before tax.
It's 37. So the average person in London is taking them 2.5 grand after tax. And then in England, 1% of those in England are 160 bags a year. So to be in the 1% in the UK, you have to have 160 bags. To be in the 5% in the UK, you've got to be on 80 bags, and to be on the 10%, you've got to be on 60 bags.
That's the reason why they say people in Scotland have more money than people in England,
Because
their bills are a lot less,
Cost of living.
and the cost of living is a lot less compared to here. So if you was earning 37 in Scotland compared to 37 here, it's